Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Omnia number 008SW 4.5-inch swivel spindle. Let's take some basic dimensional properties of this spindle first, and then we'll talk about what it is and what it's used for. Well, it should be 4.5-inch overall length, indeed. Okay. The key stock size is probably about 5/16. Oh yeah, 0.312, 0.312. Okay. This has this slice that happens down here and over here. Same on the other side. The concept of that is actually, I think, taken from the split spindle concept. There are three types of spindles, at least that I'm aware of: solid, swivel, and split. A solid spindle is pretty simple and straightforward. Let's talk about those three types in a moment. But just to finish this off, it has this slot principle on both sides. We'll talk about that. And it also has this pinched over feature here and here, and that would certainly be a reference to the side that would be considered the exterior half of the spindle. You would push that all the way through from the outside until that pinched over end dead stopped against the latch bolt, really, and that's how you would know that it would be centered correctly within the lock or positioned in relationship to the latch bolt so that it operated. Let's talk about what you would use a swivel spindle for and the three types of spindles. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. This spindle in particular is most definitely going to be for a privacy type set. Or it could be for a mortise lock where you need to have independent operation of the trim on either side of the door, like you would in a privacy set. What that means is the exterior trim can be fixed rigid so that it's not working, so it's not operable. But you still need to rotate the inside. That's what a split spindle does. And that is literally what split spindle means. I'm sorry, swivel. If I said split, I apologize. Swivel spindle. That's what a swivel spindle does. The solid spindle is this. It's just key stock all the way through. Doesn't swivel on itself at all. That would be appropriate for a passage set. When you rotate one lever or knob, the other side will rotate with it. Doesn't really matter. It's a passage set. Same concept with the dummy, except that it would be like a half a spindle. The split spindle is a concept that we were talking about earlier. Yale, I believe, invented the split spindle, or they called it the Triplex Spindle. There were three pieces of triangular shaped metal. Those three pieces fit into the prep of the trim knob, really. You had a triangle, two triangles, kind of like that, okay? And those two triangles mated together like this, where there was then a third triangle that sat in here. So in your mind's eye, just imagine that. When you tightened the set screw, it would force this triangle to move and separate these two pieces out, making it solid once you tightened it. My opinion is that it is the same concept. When you drive that set screw into here, it will force the tailpiece to flare out, allowing it to anchor itself within the trim nice and solidly. So you need a swivel spindle for applications where you need independent operation over each side, like you would an entrance lock. You want the outside knob lock, but you want to be able to rotate the inside, to operate the lock, or privacy sets. That's what that would be used for. Let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at a little bit of the supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here is the item that we are looking at. Let's take a look at some photographs that we have right here. Showing the swivel component. I did one time publicly refer to this as a split spindle. My mind was telling me, well, it is definitely split and you have independent operation. Well, that's not exactly how that goes. Let's see. If we can find quickly the... Oh yeah, I think we can. Yeah, this is it. This is not the exact one I'm thinking of, but this is the concept. You've got 3 pieces of metal, and that set screw, part 20, will drive that up and flare that out. That's just off of Google Patents. And I searched Triplex Spindle. This antiquedoorknobs.org, I would recommend that you review their site and even consider membership. They are a collective of people who definitely keep the ecology alive of antique doorknobs. They have regular meetings, they have swap meets, they have publications, and they also have the largest single archive of historical documents, manufacturers' catalogs like this one, encyclopedic in nature, that go back many, many years, in fact decades, and well into the 19th century. That's a split spindle as well. And this obviously goes on to talk about the science of spindles. Here's a concept as well. Oh, here it is. You can't see it very well, but that's that same spindle that we were talking about, that triplex. Okay, back to the item that we're talking about, showing the end. Now, not much here to see at all. There is a link, however, to the manufacturer's page here, where you can pull up not only all of the Omnia products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation as seen here, but also a link to the manufacturer's product catalog and several standalone product catalogs as they exist and as current as we have access to. Currently, these are all very out of date, but if there's something more current out there, we're not aware of it. But the data's here. Product data sheets is here. This is the page where we would most definitely keep all of such encyclopedic documentation from these different manufacturers. That was the product data sheet that opened up here. Actually, this might be helpful for us. Indeed it is. Here we go. Part C, spindle. They call it a teardrop groove positioned towards the set screw. That larger of the two millings on that piece. Unfortunately, they don't give part numbers here, but they refer to it, and that is my one thing that I would drop in the suggestion box is that they would make publicly available a parts list for all of these pieces of hardware, because it's difficult knowing what the part numbers are without calling the factory. In fact, that's an example of a solid spindle, obviously a passage set there. So I wish that they did produce that up front. They don't, or at least they don't to date, so we have to reach out to the factory for that information, unfortunately. But reaching out to us will ensure us reaching out to the factory. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. In conclusion, if you have any questions on the Omnia 008 SW 4.5-inch swivel spindle or any other Omnia product, please feel free to reach out to us. Omnia does a really good job in responding to inquiries and requests. As I had said earlier, I just wish the data was published. It would just save the legwork, I suppose. Omnia hardware fits in a middle tier of decorative residential hardware. Lock sets, hinges, other items. There are certainly many companies below them in terms of caliber and cost. There is one primary company, in my opinion, above them in terms of caliber and cost, and then above them would be boutique people. Omnia and one other company reside really well in that middle band of the stuff just looks really nice. It's generally pretty available, and it's very competitive, and people are very happy with the material long-term in terms of an installation. I'm not partial to Omnia for the fact that I prefer that company above there, personally, but I believe that I'm in the minority position of holding that, opinion. The fact of the matter is Omnia does a great job. Every time that we request information, they reply. They do a pretty good job with that. Any questions on the 008 SW 4.5-inch privacy swivel spindle or any other Omnia product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.